We're live.
We're live.
Mhm.
Okay. I'd like to call this special call meeting between the commissioners and the county council to order. Our first order of discussion is the IT services.
So, yeah. So, over the years, we've had different ways of handling IT. We tried in-house. That was at the time wasn't a huge deal, but more and more over the years, IT's become an important deal. Made a switch to another provider, Ovation. They've been a step up for sure. But we have some other things that one thing that I think we've realized is we would like someone on site rather than whenever we need someone on site having to call and then wait for them to show up. So we've talked to another provider. We're getting a proposal put together. We will, because they are going to hire this other person, it is going to be more expensive than what we are paying. But I think we need to consider that. The other thing that they have in their proposal or the draft proposal is cybersecurity. And right now we've had a couple examples in the county about cybersecurity issues. And I think we need to continue to look at that and not think we're okay, because it sounds like, I think Matt told me, he sent out an email today, just the sheer increase in the number of cybersecurity issues that are going on. And, I think the story that Bobby will say, I'll put him on the spot, is he went to a certain place that he had been going to for a number of years, gave him his name, and they're like, yeah, you're not in the system. So they'd lost all his information in that. And, we have a lot of public information that we have. We don't need to have that taken and then held for ransom. So, we'll get this proposal together. We'll send it and share it out with everyone and let them kind of look over it. Once again, it's going to be more. I think, we often wonder especially with funding going the way it is, how are we going to pay for something like this? I think some of this is going to be considered public safety. So, I mean, we've got a new jail that we've drastically increased its size and drastically increased the IT parts of it. And, I think we've got two guys behind you that have, maybe 911 and EMA, they might fit in they're going to be public safety as well. And we've had some things that happen, we'll put it like that, over the years of this new service provider. And I mean, in their defense, they've never done any municipalities or counties. And so, yeah, we're going to get to it. Well, that's not really the response you need. So the new one, Exos is the name of them, but they do municipalities. And so they've got that. They work for the city of Indianapolis as well. So they have that experience. We're not going to pay them to train them to work in that world. So, but I think one of the things that we've heard is, just having someone on site when you have an issue, that he will come and talk to you. And he will also not just show up when there is an issue. He can be here. Once again, they're paying for him, but they'll be here all the time. So, hey, what are some other things that that aren't just the issues? What are some other things that we need to help with? So I think it's, I mean, I haven't had discussions with the current provider, but I don't think he's going to be too surprised that we're trying to move on, So I think it's just going to be, it's just time to continue to take a next step forward. Once again, I think the cybersecurity thing is enough to cause us to really do that. And I mean, these guys, well, maybe they do know, but they didn't know when I went to talk to them at the commissioner conference, the things that we were looking for, really, we needed someone on site. That's been one of the largest things we've heard from folks. And two, we'd like some better communication. And he started checking boxes without me even saying that. And I'm like, okay, we need to talk further. And so I think that's something that, like I said, we've got the proposal, we'll send it out, people look at it. Once again, it is more expensive than I think we're paying.
We're at a little over 10,000 a month.
Yeah, so over $120,000 a year right now for the current provider. But once again, I mean, a large part of this proposal is gonna be cybersecurity. And so we need to ask him questions on that to make sure what he's gonna do, because I know Matt's been involved with IoT and some of those things there. That's a free service, but I mean, that's kind of to check you out, right? I mean, I mean, they're gonna see where your weak points are, but I don't
Yeah,
know.
we had a study done and we got a little bit better, review maybe than I thought we were going to. But end of the day, we have a lot of gaps that we need to fill and we need a lot of separation from what we have. Everything goes into one bucket, and when somebody infects that one bucket, it's just everybody gets it.
Then everybody has it, so.
And I'll also say just to the money thing, I think in lost production, if there was a way for us to capture that, it would. I don't know what the difference is in the price, but
Right.
I.
Well, you're right. I mean, those are some things that we usually don't think about, but there has been times that's been a huge deal. And, there are gonna be things, I mean, in a little bit in their defense, that it's gonna be the outside services, but you need to know, that's the one thing I think, if you knew someone was checking in and figuring out where it's at and what the status is and would let you know, all right, I just checked with them, this is where, instead of just you just waiting to hear from them.
I find out when tickets got closed and didn't see them.
So, anyway,
Changes every day. I work for a very large company, which I will not say. But today they had what they're calling a mild approach to their computer system. Randomly throughout the day, each computer, I'm on drop 215. My computer got shut clear off and they downloaded new antivirus on the next computer system got shut, went through the whole plant and the whole system just today. So, they call it a mild approach. I don't know what that meant, but it scared the heck out of
I hate
them.
to see an aggressor.
I know. Yeah, then when the computers come back up, you gotta go through and redo, so like you said, your loss, that's.
Yep. But, and I think, I mean, certainly from my side of things, I mean, if a tornado comes, if a flood happens, I mean, we can see that and we can deal with that.
Mhm.
This cybersecurity thing scares me.
Yep.
That's what keeps me up at night because
Mhm.
you can't see it, you don't know what happens.
Yeah.
And if Norton's gonna get hit here as hard as they did, and then a year later, then Louisville got hit. So, I mean, it's,
sure. And Southwestern High School or schools got it, and you wouldn't think, but it came in through their HVAC software. So it wasn't like where you were probably, I'm sure they were looking the other places, but who would have thought that some guy would, and, they, I remember, they're out of school today? Why? Well, it's cold and we can't control the temperature in the school, so we gotta keep kids out of school doing, and, talking to Kevin Dillman over there, it just start from scratch.
it's scary.
Yeah, so I'll send those things out, just wanna let you know before I didn't wanna throw it out and like, oh, what is this? So, but once again, in our discussions with them, they had a lot of boxes that I think we've been, trying to get addressed in our current provider. And, I think, like you said, the big one was, all right, we're gonna have someone here. And I think, we also talked a little bit about long-term, do we work with other municipalities? Do we work with the city of Madison? Do we work with the town of Hanover well and try to share some resources to help, so we have a couple, because obviously we go further, there'd be another person in and about, but if something happens, you got two guys that can go help and work on that and kind of share some resources, which I think, people like to be able to do that just because it's a little more cost beneficial for them if they've got two people down here and got some other things to help out. So there's IT services.
We want somebody that will make our emergencies their emergencies.
Yes.
It's, to me, bottom line, because like Brandon, he calls and says, my CAD's down, my IDACs are down, Central Square's down. To me, that's all hands on deck. And we haven't had that luxury, I don't think, so.
Right.
Okay. Juvenile facility. You want me to run with it? You want,
Go ahead.
you can jump in at any time,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
Well, as you know, we've been going through the hurdles to get approved, which we are now. We've got the green light to turn the old jail into juvenile facility. And hiccup right now is getting a hard and fast number on what we have to do to remodel. So we've had three local contractors look at it, and it's been so vague that we're gonna have Josh Nichols, who is the current Tell City. Evansville runs that juvenile facility, which will be our director. He's coming in Saturday. We're taking a checklist room by room. Here's exactly what has to be done, because I couldn't tell the contractors what state code and all that is, which he knows. So he can say, yeah, this will work. No, it won't. It has to be done this. To get hard and fast numbers that they can work with and come back with a real good close quote on what it's gonna cost to. But as far as all the hurdles, we're pretty well there, except getting it done
And hiring him,
and hiring him. Yeah.
get a new bidder. Be there Saturday. the
Good,
One you recommended.
Good.
You'll
Very
be there. We're gonna start out in the courthouse at 10 o'clock. Saturday morning.
Build and remodel.
Just the jail, the new part of the old jail.
Start cleaning.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you guys got 3 bids on that. Good, very good.
Anything
You
else?
do anything with that?
So I did advertise that, so if you guys are going to accept that contract to get started, then. If you want them to vote on the money for February's meeting, then.
So that's- Tuesday, right?
Yes. I do have it advertised for that meeting.
So could we do a meeting before their meeting and vote on that and,
I think you can do it during this one.
oh, we can do it during this one?
Yeah.
Okay,
You can do it right now.
all right, so. But I don't know how much. Do I need to know how much? Oh, geez.
I do.
Okay,
Hold on. So you guys are accepting the portion of his services, right? The
Yep.
12,000 whatever per month.
Would you say that's kind of tentative? We are talking about where he comes in and oversees that part of it, right?
well, I think that's his contract for this. getting
get
it-
started.
Getting it to,
We're talking two different entities,
Right.
but
well, we're talking one just to kind of be our consultant to help us get this thing ready to go. I think that's this contract that she's talking about, and then
Okay.
there will be the second contract,
his
which
actual
and
salary.
he's the director and all that stuff.
Okay.
Presently, you guys are talking about the monthly contract, right? The 12,000.
Right, that's to get us from where we're at
Okay.
now to having a facility ready to roll.
Okay.
As a juvenile facility, since he's got that information, and then there would be a second contract for him to operate the juvenile facility, once we're got everything set up as ready for to accept inmates.
I almost have my email pulled up and that's that.
You get it? So that's all I'm gonna,
All the rates. Maybe.
But that wouldn't actually start till we did the first metal cut or whatever, correct?
Okay, so. My document that. I shared with everyone, I believe on this.
Yep.
So I have advertised,
It's good.
the amount for us to reappropriate the money in ARPA. And money in lit, so that when they are ready to move forward with the. Paying the contractors, we will have that available.
okay,
And then I also have them for their initial retainer portion. The 127,000 is what we will need to do a March through December. And
Okay.
that's that $12,700 payment,
Okay,
yes.
so I'm gonna make a motion to accept that part of the contract, right? The 12,700 per month.
Yes, and then we can, at the council meeting, we could go ahead and appropriate
Right.
the other portion, and then once that contract is signed, it is ready to go.
Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion, we accept or approve the contract for Josh Nichols to be the juvenile detention center consulting and project manager for a cost of $12,700 per month. And that'll be March through December of this year.
Okay, I have a motion.
I second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay. Any other questions on that before we move on?
Hmm.
Public safety distribution.
Let's hear.
Hmm.
The public safety.
Yeah.
So, so I sent out documents to the council earlier this week. We do have a new council member, so I just wanted to refresh everyone or educate everyone what has happened in the past. Previously, we have only done one distribution out of public safety for fire departments. And I believe that amount was just over 100,000 the very first year. We used a matrix at that point to calculate we actually just used the same matrix that we used to distribute the ARPA money. And then, so at that time, there had been discussion that there would be new data collected when another distribution was going to take place. And I believe during budget time, it was kind of collectively decided not to do one last year. And then to move forward, but there has been some requests to have a distribution again. So we need to come up with a method to distribute that money and how much, because if everyone remembers correctly, we never allocated a certain percentage or that the growth would be dedicated all to fire. We just said that this growth will help us be able to have a distribution to fire. So I guess first an amount and a matrix needs to be discussed of how that money will be distributed to the fire companies. If you guys decide to do that.
I mean, is it us or is it both?
I think collectively, do you guys want, I'm assuming the input wants to be a collective agreement between both boards?
It is a joint meeting. Let's have some discussion.
Yeah, more than welcome to.
Okay with that. I mean, it's so important. This subject is so important to our fire departments throughout the county. That, yeah, I think we need to. Do it right.
So I guess the number that we picked last time was just a number picked, is that?
Yes, basically, it was, I think the ballpark figure of $100,000 was given, and then I believe it ended up being like 102.7. And that reason being is once I did everything by the same percentages as ARPA, then I don't like uneven numbers, so I made everything even and just asked if that was okay to make it an even number to each company. So that being said, I guess I need guidance as to if you guys want to use the same matrix
Okay,
in a different dollar amount, or if data needs to be collected and a new matrix developed.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something. I mean,
How much growth?
materials went up, from 2023 when we discussed this. That's a factor. So.
We had discussed, the reason why we discussed, and I do remember that now, waiting for another year is because we wanted to have a substantial amount in that fund. So we could have more to distribute. So it's just stacking up a little bit. So we would have something maybe more substantial that we could, spread out across these guys' fire departments. Maybe they would have a big thing they needed to do, you know, as opposed to something, maybe they'd have a $40,000 thing instead of and they'd have that money there as opposed to taking it letting
So,
it build up. That's what we were
So are
thinking.
you saying like maybe on a case by case basis?
Well, I'm saying that's
Instead
why,
of
that's,
just be cut and dry that, no, you don't, you're not asking for enough or,
well, we can discuss that, but what I'm saying is the reason why we didn't give it this year is we wanted to skip a year and let it build up some. And then have the discussion, are we gonna go with the matrix or are we gonna go, I know at one time we talked about having the guys come in if they had something they needed and we would discuss
to
that.
do like a proposal, or if they were going to be working on a specific project, what the cost was, and then if you know, they could allocate a portion of that amount to them,
Right.
what projects they're working on.
So there's a public safety tax, right, that was increased? So do we know about how much annually that increase is, or is that kind of hard to track, or?
It is hard to track,
Okay.
and the reason why it's hard to track is because every year it's calculated on. The income goes up as well,
Yeah.
so it's not just. Before we allocated, so, I was going to dig a little further into that to see how much the income base went up as well. Because during that time period, we've had a big jump in income base as well, so, it has grown more than what I think we even anticipated, but it was not necessarily just due to that jump. That where we increased the rate, it's because of the income has also went up in the area.
How much was that increase from the previous before the increase? So in 2022, it was set at a certain level, correct? Of what they get in the public safety tax money.
The
The
percentage,
percentage, yes. And then the percentage from that point, how much what was that?
I do not have the exact amount in front of me because it's less than 1%, but it went from. It's a very small amount that went up, and I cannot remember right off the top of my head.
I know at one time, Dwayne, I knew when the IVFA came in and did their thing, you didn't set it at 5, you set it at 3. So,
No, but there's
0.3
confusion
one,
with
yeah.
that because. When they came in, they were proposing that we obligate off the top of our distribution to fire departments. And then that would be distributed by assessed value of structures. And the council at that time made the call to not do it that way. So that went out the window. We do not have that plan in place.
yeah, you didn't do the lid, that was on the lid. And so we didn't do the lid and we understood that.
Right.
So, but then I know, talk with Dwayne and them that they was, well, and maybe, you know, the ones that have sat on the board, that it was set at a percentage point that was in between what the lid says, so it would have been 3. I remember you guys talking about it. So that's why I've been asking that question.
But there's never been a rate set specifically for fire. Ever.
Because that's not what I was being told by the council, is what I was getting at.
Right.
So, I mean, because I'll give you an example. We had to buy a new fire coat for a guy because it got damaged. We paid $800 or $1,700 2 years prior. Now that one coat's gone up to $2,300. That's how much stuff's increasing since then. So, and it doesn't matter where you're at in the county, don't get me wrong. If you're at Canaan, if you're at Brooksburg, we're at wherever, whatever county fire department versus the city. where they pay for their fire gear, pay for their fire papers, they pay for their gas, fuel in the trucks. They have a truck fund, all this type of stuff. The county fire departments, it doesn't matter if it's the smallest one, it only goes to 14 calls a year. They still have the same expenses as the guys like us going to 200 calls a year. They have the exact same equipment where the city has a truck per station. Where all the county units have got anywhere from 4 to 5 because they gotta have pumpers, tankers, grass rigs. Our situation calls for ladder, first responder vehicles, rescue trucks with handovers.
So really, it should be more of an even amount to all of
Yeah,
them,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It should be straight across where it's,
straight
even
across the board to
everybody.
everyone.
Like,
Whatever they decide to do, we should just divide it equally among all the county
and
fire
that's the way I've
departments.
always looked at it is. Yeah, sometimes it might be disheartening to the guys that go to 200 calls a year. Another company has 14, but they still gotta have the same equipment what we have.
Right,
Well, and
Ours is just getting used more.
Just simply because of the increase in mutual and automatic aid that we do to each other now.
Yeah.
I mean, I
You
think,
know, you want somebody to respond with decent stuff.
Yeah.
and your gear has an expiration date, whether it's used 100 times or one time.
10 years.
right.
And so our.
So, Maybe
like,
the
go by
matrix
standard.
is not really needed as much as, maybe a matrix isn't needed as much as just an even division amongst the county firefighters,
And
the fire
That may make
departments.
it- That just may make.
Makes it a lot easier.
Makes it a lot easier, yeah.
Because when I looked at because when you look at Senate Bill 1315, Senate Bill 270, I hope they go with the 270. Because there's only, if they go with the 1315, there's only gonna be one county fire company standing that's gonna get money from their township, and that's Madison Township. Now, is that fair? No.
So,
I don't think anybody's upstate or that looked at all this stuff. And if you do 1315, is the county gonna be able to pay, to have paid fire department here about $16.8 million a year? To have 4 fire stations that cover the whole town. They're not gonna be able to afford that, so where do we draw the line at? But right now, we need to keep the fire companies going to show that we're fire strong in these communities, and we gotta keep the money going to them. I mean, in my personal opinion, there shouldn't be a volunteer fire department, they're public safety. No matter how you look at it, there shouldn't be one have to do a fundraiser to buy their equipment. I'm sorry, that's or a truck or whatever, or put up a building. It's just the bottom line, whether it's volunteer or paid. If it's paid, it's gonna cost you more than the 16.8. You have to buy all new trucks. The truck that we ordered 4 years ago, they're finally gonna cut metal on in March. That same truck was 822,000. That exact same truck now is 1.3 to 4.4 million for that exact same truck. So it's not gonna be an easy adventure, so. I represent all the county fire companies. I'm the chair of the fire association. I'm speaking for all of them, and we want to make sure that we keep letting them get built up to have their appropriate equipment
Mhm.
and be able to maintain it at least at a bare minimum. You know, it's basically, it comes down to exactly what the IVFA said. A bare minimum is $133,000 a year. If they're only getting 10,000, I'll take deputy. I know what they get every year is 10 grand. They still got to come up with money to make budget. So if they have to be up to 130,000, that's why they're doing bingo. So they're raising $120,000 to do that every year. Because they don't have the population base to give them the tax money from their township.
so what if we, this is strictly just throwing it out there, what if we took a certain amount, so. I think we need to know how much we're talking, so just. I don't need to know, I don't think we need to know tonight, but just to get us to start thinking, I mean, is it something where we give each county fire department a certain amount, but then we have some set aside for that big project that comes in. That, okay, I need to buy something that's not just a personal equipment, but bigger equipment that we've got a little bit set aside that we'll let that build up over time and then. Have those people submit like an application, we want to buy this new truck and. And so we kind of try to do a little bit of both, but,
Actually, the city, they have a truck fund where they put a certain amount in there every year.
Sure.
So it builds up until 20 years, 30 years, however long it takes before they replace the truck. And then they get that, and then they take what money they save out of their contract. Am I not right, Danny?
Yes, sir.
And that's how they pay for their new truck. But, you know, I'm gonna say that I'm just an old fireman. I'm not a public accountant, and I don't know how to, you know, some people's got financial crises in their fire company. Some of them's got people that invest money for them to make money to pay for that new truck. Which I think all of us do pretty good with the limited amount of resources we have, but, versus some other companies. So,
I don't know that we would be able to move money out of the fund to create. If that makes sense, but, I think, like I said, it started at 100,000. I think council is definitely in favor of growing that. Doubling it at least, this next year. And then, go from there.
I mean, could we, I didn't think you.
So you mean like take 100,000 and divide it between the 8 departments, they each get 12.5 apiece?
And then have the other 100,000 to, for special projects. And submit, because a number was thrown out to me already, of possibly doubling it this year, since we didn't do anything last year. So at a $200,000 distribution, do 100,000 evenly, and then do the other 100,000 by,
Special
Projects.
projects?
So,
and then you wouldn't have to collect data and create a matrix, and
I think what we're hearing is that it needs, I mean, people gotta
the
replace
need is
equipment.
everywhere.
Right, I mean, people gotta replace equipment, like you said, not because of the number of runs you make, because I put it in service on January first
And then-
of 26.
we're replacing air packs right now, we're on the grant for $8,000 a piece, only got 4. Without an air cylinder, because our air cylinders, we got them staged when they gotta be replaced. That price has now gone up to, and we just got them, and it's already went up to $8,500 a pack, and we still got 10 more packs or 11 more air packs to replace because they're over 21 years old. We've taken good care of them, they've been used a lot, but they can't get parts for them anymore, so when it goes out of service,
You have no choice.
we have no choice.
We have a truck, we gotta replace in 2 years, so I mean, it's, you know, like he said, it's gonna be, for our little bitty department of Rikers Ridge, it's gonna be ridiculous for us to come up with that kind of money to replace it, pay that money for a truck, so.
The beauty of doing it that way, you're flexible.
Mhm. I think the reason, so what originally came around about doing a percentage, we wouldn't have been able to distribute to the fire departments that serve an area that also receives public safety tax. So such as DuPont or Brooksburg, because they receive a very small portion of
$300.
very small portion, we wouldn't, and not have been able to distribute to them.
Oh.
Or like Hanover receives public safety tax, and we wouldn't have been able to distribute to that service or like that service area either. So, but since we're only distributing out of the county's share, then we have the flexibility where we can distribute to whomever.
Well, I think, oh, Gary, you're gonna say something. Well,
Go ahead.
you know, I think that, I just think it's enough that if you're gonna ask somebody to go through, and these guys, man, they're all heart, they want to volunteer. They want to put in the time, the training, they're every bit as trained as the paid fire guys. They have if we're gonna ask them to go into harm's way or dig some baby out of a car at 2 o'clock in the morning, leave their family and go through all the mental anguish and trauma that they've got to suffer. And the time they give up for training and putting herself in harm's way, I just think it's a bridge too far to ask them to pay for all their other stuff if they're gonna volunteer their time and put their family on hold. I just think it's exploitation to ask them to do anything else, in my opinion. And I think we've done it far too long to them.
I was just thinking, now this is just an idea.
Right, that's, we need to have those discussions at least to see, I think.
Do we have a county fire board?
We have an association, all the county fire chiefs and presidents meet every other month. And we discuss these very issues. One, Brandon's been very good about coming to our meetings. Matt comes to our meetings. And we discuss what the current issues are, who's needing help with what. So we do that every other month, man.
I'm just wondering if, and shoot this idea down if you think it's crazy, but you know, obviously some fire departments are bigger than others. We don't want to compromise, any fire department in the county. And if we had a community fire board with a representative from every fire department,
Yeah, we do that now.
okay, and you guys could send us what you think would be the best option to move forward with something like we're getting ready to do. What do you think of that?
That would be great. I mean, if you're, but I got for that board. We need to know the amount that we have to pick from, so we can tell how to do it. And so we can say, okay, divide. This a few
Sure.
$100,000 to the 8 fire companies, and then the 100,000 is the one we ask for special projects from.
That way, every fire department would be in agreement
Yeah,
Right.
on which fire department gets what before it moves to the commissioner, the council, or the auditor's office. I mean, that's just,
I would say the most, I should have probably abstained from talking about it as a treasurer, if I cover up my camp fire here. No, none of the fire departments are overly proud. If somebody has a need, we really try to support everybody mutually, and if Rikers Ridge use every bit of that $100,000, we'd probably be okay with it. Yeah, especially since we run with them. And so, as far as, I just think equal distribution. As a treasurer, I love when I get money coming in. I love when people donate to us. I mean, we've had some great this year, so
You're talking of a fire department. You can
yeah,
grand
so
down
I'm like, it's nice to be in the black, in your
So-
budget, and, I don't know if I've ever run on $103,000 a year. I've typically tried to lean it in at 70,000. I say our burden rate's about 50 to 7 a year, depending. We just set 4 sets of turnout gear, $14,000 for some new members that we've got, so.
It's at 3 now.
The one good news story is the new packs go for 30 years now,
Yeah,
instead
the new
of
cylinders.
climbing out at 20.
the new cylinders do, not so much the pack.
Well, if you flow test them and.
Yeah, but that's what,
maintain-
everybody flow tests them, that's the kicker every year.
Yeah, the tanks used to turn into pumpkins in 10 years.
Is
or
it
like
3 years on turnout gear now have to be replaced?
Every
Every 10 years.
every 10 years,
Every 10 years.
Helmets.
Unless they fail an inspection.
if they
They
fail.
could be brand new gear, you go into a structure fire
Gets compromised,
and it's
it's,
compromised, it's done. You've gotta get new gear.
We're running with the flat screen TVs in homes now, those things are hitting 2,000 degrees. And one of the reasons we pick black gear, because it shows it right away, you'll get red blotches, it's destroyed then. They cannot fix it.
We're having to wash them a lot more.
And we do it, I think Kent's got one, we've got one.
Toxins.
We offer to the companies that don't have it,
Yes. Oh,
after every
yeah,
structure
that's-
fire, the gear now has to be washed. And it has to be with a certain type of wash machine, of course, because of the RPMs in them in a normal washer isn't what it's supposed to be for the fire gear to keep it together. A regular wash machine can actually destroy it. So you have that, and you have to use a certain detergent to get the toxins out of it. And, it's an extractor wash machine. That wash machine's $5,000. That's for the cheap one. So, you've got all these other variables in there. A lot of us are making our own fire gear dryers. We can do that because you can't dry it in a dryer. It has to be with room temperature air. It can't be with and tumble around done. So,
It's like this modified smokehouse for making.
The same way with hoses. I mean,
Open the
I
door,
remember
they're all.
hoses for a buck a
Yeah,
foot.
right here.
Now it's a buck, was it $1.50 last time I checked, $1.60
Yep.
a foot, and you buy them in 50-foot rolls. You just don't buy 3 foot at a time, so, there's a lot of variables in there that affects all of us, and it doesn't matter how big or small you are. Now, with me, I do run more because I have 5 automatic mutual aids and a mutual aid agreement with Milton, Kentucky to run a tanker over there. We're running 1991 tanker, which is in good shape. It's great. It's got 22,000 miles on, it, but it is outdated.
Outdated.
Our truck's an 89, so.
Yeah. So. You know, we got
Antique
always.
plates for some of them. But, yeah, we're, you know, the one good news story is if you maintain your trucks, you can keep them a long time.
Oh, yeah.
You buy a good model and a good make on a good chassis, you can have a truck run 40 years.
Yeah.
Every bit of it,
But on ISO purposes side of it,
right.
to keep insurance rates down, they want you to follow the NFPA standard, which is at 20 years.
And a lot of the newer makes, they don't last like the old ones, so you
Yeah.
get about 20 years out of them and they're
You're
good for the pasture,
Our old one's turned 29. We're gonna keep it as a reserve because it's such a good truck, never has failed.
Right.
We're gonna use, repurpose it.
Orbit.
So, you know, you got all these variables in there. It's affecting today's fire business. Now we're having to deal with electric vehicles.
You probably heard more than you wanna hear, but that's.
No,
There's a
so,
lot-
I mean,
there's a lot of nuances
if
to
we
it.
came to an agreement that 12.5 was what we would do and hold the other back for project, is 12.5 gonna be helpful? I mean, some of the reason why there's been a change in the, how do I say this tactfully? A change in the number of fire companies we're gonna help, because some people said it wasn't worth their while, and we got some gruff from it. We're like, well, okay, we don't have to give you money, that's fine.
Well, that's it. That was in the city though.
I know, I was gonna say that, but yeah.
I will.
But, you know, and so,
That's like I explained.
That's-
okay,
different
if,
structure.
Yeah.
The city and the county is
right,
really different structure.
well, we were just, figured everybody was paying it, we tried to help out, and that was the matrix we did to start with, but.
Some thousand.
So, but if that would be, at least that's a starting point, I think, to think about. And if we don't, you know, yeah, there's gonna be some projects out there, and I guess if that other $100,000, all of it doesn't get used, which probably not gonna be the case, but if it does, can that kind of roll into,
It would remain in the balance.
in the balance
So
of that,
we
so we
can-
could,
We could address that. We did not do the full 200,000 in 26, that we only did 180, and that we could have that additional 20 go towards the next year.
so
But
think about that, I mean, I think that's a good proposal, I mean, if it comes a point in time, I think, sorry, you're running, I'm up here running. Just let you,
You okay?
yeah, but if there are bigger projects coming up, so you guys as the fire chiefs decide, well, there's gonna be this project, it's gonna be $300,000. I mean, do we wait a couple of years to save that up for folks, or do you wanna, you guys kind of let us know what would be the best way to proceed on that, cause there may be some years like. We got this, but it's probably gonna be best to hold on to it for a couple of years until it's enough that's gonna, you know, be a big part of a truck.
What's the down payment on this truck when you go to buy one, Robert?
What's the down? Depends on,
$200,000-$300,000.
I'm not, when we bought ours in 97. And we had to put a down payment on it when we went to order this one. We went with the same company, and they went back through their records and they said, we don't need one from you all. You all are good for it. Our reputation of paying the other one off in 4 years. Took care of that, so
So
we just signed
I
paper.
think that's an option out there, should we wanna,
I'd say accumulated. I think, you know, until you got a sizable amount, because otherwise it's it's not enough to put out the fire for what the need will be. It'd be, thankfully for most fire companies, if we bought trucks before, then we're able to borrow at a very affordable rate. We get some pretty decent rates. So we don't have to necessarily put money down. So if we have to buy a vehicle, if we have to borrow the money, we'll just go and do that. And that's you know, we pay it off.
It'd kind of be helpful to the council if we got kind of a list of a timetable when each department's gonna need to replace something.
Hmm.
You know, large
Learn something.
truck or whatever.
That's just what I was thinking.
Maybe
Very helpful.
we could kind of plan for it along with you all.
Would it be feasible, like, if you canvass the departments, okay, or the companies, and like, the Ridge needs three new turnout gears, cause three of them's gonna run out this year. To bring those up so that all of them aren't together at the same time. Like to get 2 or 3 companies, hey, they're up to speed, they should be good for 3 years unless you have a breakdown, you know, on your suit. And then the next year, let's bring 3 more up. I'm just throwing that
Yeah,
out there.
we've been doing that for the last few years so that we are in a rhythm of
Mhm.
not having to go out and buy
Rotating
20 sets of
stock.
fire gear. Or, you know, it just happens to be that our air packs are starting to fail. But we had thought ahead enough that before they started offering, and this has happened, I think it was last year on the 30-year cylinders. The year before, we had already set them separately, because those cylinders are over $1,000 a piece just for their cylinders. And so we still got 5 years on so many of them, and we got 10 years left on the other ones,
Mhm.
and then we'll replace them with 30, but the air packs basically passed every year, or had to have a little maintenance thing on it. So, yeah, we can, I'll just have to get everybody together.
I mean,
First, sit
that-
down
That's
with
just
their
a thought.
it's basically gonna come, instead of the presidents and the chiefs, it's gonna be the treasurers and the of all that, and mix it with the chiefs of when their equipment needs to be replaced. Engineers, it's gonna be a big broader thing, so,
Get
you know,
the,
I'm just the chief, I do the reports, and I mean, that's the commander most of the time, and he'll make decisions, but I have to talk to the engineering staffs, and you have to, you know, just go on down the line. So, but I know we're up to $21,000 a year just for the insurance.
Yeah.
I wish
Our
the
deputies pay me $10,000 a year, still don't have the best insurance they can get.
And a lot of insurance companies are starting to drop fire departments
Unfortunately, that is
and
true.
jails.
and jails. Yep.
Yeah, I just wish the public had a better idea what would happen to their homeowners insurance. If a lot of our, Rikers Ridge and Deputy DuPont, Birchburg, a lot of these smaller, fire departments, if they go defunct, what's gonna happen to their homeowners insurance? It's going up. But, you know, if your house is on fire, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about, who's gonna come put the fire out and save me. So there's 2 things. You're there, your homeowner's insurance is going up and you're not protected. So I just wish people understood, the cost of all this a little better. It's not free. They're getting some pretty good, service for not a lot of money.
Yeah, and the public safety tax ain't millions, it's just dollars to help out.
Anything else on that? Not, well,
And you guys wanna talk that over and see if that's what you wanna do, and then we can move forward with that.
I think.
I mean, or I think, or I guess we can do it tonight if we want.
Yeah, I can, if you guys wanna make the decision to do the initial 100,000 evenly, then I can advertise that for the March meeting, and then we could get that distribution out to the fire companies.
Do we have to make a motion for that?
We don't have.
If you guys just
Okay.
give me well, I guess, yes, make the motion that that's the intent, that you
Okay.
guys want to do an even distribution of $100,000. And I'll do the advertisement, and then we'll vote on it again in March.
I entertain that motion. Can I make the motion?
It's a joint one.
It's joint.
We gotta-
I'll make.
All
I'll
right.
second it.
Okay. All in favor?
All right.
All right.
motion carries.
So we're unused, so not used to having a joint meeting. Can I? Why not?
Okay. Riverboat wage sharing distribution. Where do we go from here?
Do you wanna know what we distributed last year? 25, does that help to start?
So this is the minutes from the nonprofit meeting that you guys had back in July. And then what we distributed,
This year,
this year.
you are all over it. Thank you. Yes. I've been trying to pull up the emails. You know, what the totals.
Previously, we had been doing
Yeah,
97,000.
I knew that. I just wondered, all her yellowed or highlighted.
That being said, during budgets, I asked, can we just make it an even number? Do we have to do 97? Because we always have a little left over in that fund.
We did.
So, hold on just a
No,
second.
I'm just, we did, we just,
I will tell you the exact amount that we appropriated. I believe. For some reason, I think we did 100 or maybe even 120, and I just put it in one line this year. But it is approved and is good.
All this,
that's really elevated, hasn't it?
Okay, so that is.
Get 5 from 4-H. We used to get 120.
11,900.
all that you've got highlighted here is 84,000.
Yeah, that's what, and then the remaining, what the rest of the make up the 97,000 was in the commissioner line item for special projects. I think.
Did you have that, Heather? I have 8,300 in my
83,000 or 83?
No,
Oh, and
the additional that we were going to leave for the commissioner's discretion. I had 7,300 in my notes, but
Okay, so in all I have right now is $100,000. So $100,000 divided as to. However. At this point, but I didn't have notes from your session.
and I
Yeah.
those. I do too.
Okay,
I was saying we're different. We make sure we're all on the same page and that is we need to come out with a grand answer.
so instead of 97 though, we're doing it even 100
take charge.
because, yeah.
97,000. Where did we come up with
Rather
that number?
specific. Appropriable, there was 2,000 appropriated for the transportation, but nothing ever came out. Nothing ever came out. So. That was last year, right? Yeah. So in 2025, we did do, you said 2,500, I think there was 2,000 or 2,000 for veterans transportation, but that was never requested.
We moved it to,
Which we have veterans transportation in another
yeah.
area as well.
for.
You add them up, I
Was this
come
for
up
like
with
a?
68,
is there something
750.
For volunteers
Yeah.
that help?
No.
That other, the other one.
Discussion was more of a, for emergency,
Oh.
like special,
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
We still like it's hotel.
right?
yeah. Should something happen and they needed a place to stay.
To veterans, even though that request wasn't there, Dwayne, it's Dwayne. And, Ray and Gary, I had down that we did go ahead and allocate 5,000.
For,
I mean, obviously, not our withstanding VSO, not their traditional budget, but the additional 5,000 on these funds. To give to,
so they didn't draw it from last year.
okay,
Okay,
So they never drew the amount that was given in 25. So it just rolled back into the balance,
Probably, because we hadn't historically done that,
right?
and
Didn't
realize
that. That's what I imagine. Yeah.
So we could just keep it there, but let her know, hey, there's some
Yes.
funds here for you to use for this.
need a reminder,
Heather.
he's not used
Heather, did you add this group up?
I have not, no. Sarah made these notes.
I did, I did not have this.
You come up 68, 70. Or just the.
Wait a minute.
one,
I did
two,
add them, but it's
Didn't
been
even review
several
them.
hours.
And plenty of
Heather
things
said
have gone on.
73,000, I didn't come up with that. What'd you get?
87.
Another one that I had in regards to the 2025 distribution and then the ask 2026 that's not on here that came in. I had that our final decision, the council's decision and suggestion was 20,000 for lifetime resources. If anybody else on the council wants to.
I have to refer back to my notes.
What did you get?
For 25?
He
20,
said he got, what,
they
87?
received 14,000
Yeah.
in 2025.
68,
Down that the council decided on
Yeah,
20,000.
Because I know we're
For
talking about
2026.
750.
You're probably
When we
right.
looked at their ask, when we looked at the number served,
87,500.
obviously the usage of EDRA.
And they're doing
Okay.
from 100.
Should we just go
Yeah.
down the list of what council suggested for 2026?
Yeah.
Do you have that?
Great.
Do you feel comfortable reading that, Heather?
Sure.
The 2026, what council, and this is what initially is on the table, I guess, of what they're suggesting.
And I believe, please, council provide input. Girls Incorporated, their ask of 11,000 for 2026. I believe we fully funded that and wanted to keep that. Application as requested. The Boys and Girls Club of the 20,000, we did not change that either.
Right.
To my records. 4-H, that originally had been 15,000 for 2026. And I had down, that we, did grant the 20,000 as requested for 4-H. I did have the additional 5,000 for the veteran service specifically for transportation needs. I had CASA and they actually added a lower ask for 2026. I had down in my notes, that they asked CASA in 2020, we granted 13,000 in 2025. The ask was 8. And I had down that we kept that at the $8,000 as requested for CASA. The CAC, there was much discussion there. And we went back and forth from not funding those dollars that's requested. After some additional research and discussion, and it's my understanding that council voted to keep that at the $3,000, which is what they received in 2025. The kindness, their request for 5, they were granted 5, their request for 2026 was 10. We had some significant concerns with the appropriate ask. And those dollars originally, per their first proposal, not being utilized by a not-for-profit. It was such a new program. The ask did not really warrant the dollars asked, and we asked for a new proposal to be submitted so that those dollars could potentially be used for another project, and that was not turned in. So council did not reconvene and go back to that until this meeting now tonight. They did not submit a new proposal as requested, so I was under the assumption that it would not be funding them in calendar year 2026. And then the Visit Madison, they were given 5,000 in 2025. They technically did not turn in a proposal for 2026 by the deadline. So there was a little discussion on that, and I don't have my additional notes for that. Does anyone on the council remember if there was, don't think anybody on council was pushing, oh, we should still fund, knowing how well, our,
They're supported.
yes, and they're, I'm drawing a blank, the tax, increase in the,
Or the income.
thank you for tax, yes, not that they don't need money for wonderful projects and bringing more tourism, but yeah, I don't believe there was a push to gift those dollars, when that formal request for this year was not given. I'll be quiet now. What else, council members, what else do you guys remember that I,
Or you be quiet, did you say that 4-H you agreed to the 20?
that's what I have in my notes.
And
I would agree with that, because that probably will just barely cover their insurance, so.
It was, so
Do we have safe passages
Yeah.
amount of 3,000?
Sorry, yeah, I'm correct. It was originally asked the 2750, and we did increase that to a flat 3,000 for safe passages.
Just for you.
That's what my,
I like using numbers.
Well, round.
they know this is the ask.
their 20% increase is what their proposal was, which would be an even 3,000.
Okay.
They had a 20% cut in their state budget.
This is what- this is-
Council, what am I,
I think you've got it, everything.
everyone missing right from their notes, have anything different?
So were you looking for Andrew Forrester to give you a proposal for VMI?
And they had a deadline of when, previously, I was saying this is good for Mike to hear, I do love how the last 2 years, a not-for-profit that needs or requests, county funds, and obviously we want taxpayers to know these are not,
I attended,
coming from
the most
were you,
recent-
I was gonna say,
I
were you
was
that
down
one
there,
meeting?
yeah.
Good.
granted, I'm a newbie and I was drinking from a fire hose with all the acronyms and everything, but I would say what came out clear as day was the success of the comfort station now on Main Street.
Absolutely.
That isn't fully funded by anybody. They basically, if VMI takes it out of their budgetary hide, they're trying to get a little bit of help to do it. And I know that the numbers are about $13,000 that they kittied up for it. It's been fabulously received by everybody, shop owners, visitors. When we go down there, not having to necessarily knock on the door of a store or whatever to use their facility, maybe use their facilities.
Yeah.
Somebody's house. And no, that looks great, and it's staffed with personnel that they can't, visitors can't believe that, so. Anyhow, I would say that, if we want to revisit VMI, but
And our concern was simply that obviously there are a plethora of other not-for-profits in the county. And not-for-profits were given an opportunity to put in a proposal instead of having to come to both a commissioners and a council meeting separate. We had a joint meeting where they could come. They had requirements they had to turn in their budget. Obviously, all that was put into a Google Doc, certainly for these two governing bodies to review. We did a lot of research, asked a lot of questions, and then they got to come that night to give a proposal of, here's our project, here's what we need this 10,000 for. The numbers served, the staff that we have, how our dollars have increased, the need is there. And then obviously we, then wanted to make that recommendation, following our budget sessions. So, unfortunately, I know a lot of us, our brains were swimming like, oh, so-and-so never turned in a proposal. I bet they need money too. And unfortunately, if you crack that window,
right.
kind of reach, we could go back and reach out to every not-for-profit in the county and they're gonna ask for more money. They're gonna need money. So I think that was our only concern, that if we correct that window and give dollars to those who didn't formally put in a proposal or didn't have budget submission. Maybe they, gave a one pager and did not, turn in what they were asked to, then it would, set a precedent in the future. That was really our, one of our only concerns.
Yeah, the good news is the innkeeper's tax is
Supporting.
beneficial, supportive of many things, not just BMI.
Sure, $1,031 and some change for last year.
We're still lower than what many counties are for their innkeeper tax.
Still, it was 700 and something the year before.
Yes.
So, yeah,
Almost double.
well, I mean, it went up, I mean, you go from 5 to 8%, and there's a big increase there, so.
Yes, theirs was 20. So with all those numbers, what was that total?
I got 79,000.
I have 80,000 or so 90,000, sorry.
What did you?
I had 79.
Well, the auditor here, I'll do what she did, the auditor's got 70,000. For the one.
So.
You got 70?
Well, just those that they've listed up above, plus the 5,000 for the veterans.
So we have Girls Inc., 11,000, Boys and Girls Club, 20,
Mm-hmm,
4-H, 20,
mm-hmm.
Lifetime Resources, 20.
Okay,
5,000,
so that's,
No, so
Okay.
that, I've come up with.
so that's not,
I left off.
yeah, I didn't hear that.
Tonight's the
Have
lifetime.
me at
research.
85.
yeah.
Yeah, they definitely had some,
And they've had major cuts.
they have, and they are.
So that if you add that
Yes, I
lifetime
know.
in there, that brings you up to.
Yeah, well. Yeah, if I add the 20, I would.
Yes. That being said, is everyone fine with that contribution and then the rest being in special projects in case there's a special need that comes forward? The remaining 10,000? And then if not, it stays in the fund and we reallocate it next year. And then if you guys wanna make a vote that that's the appropriate number, then we can make a press release that this is the amount, so these nonprofits. They know the amount that's coming their way and we don't start the call tree of, hey, by the way, can you tell me?
I would make a motion on behalf of the council that we approve the distribution of 90,000. And those go to 11,000 Girls Incorporated, Boys and Girls Club, 20,000, 4-H, 20,000, Lifetime Resources, 20,000, Veterans, 5,000, 8,000 to CASA, 3,000 to the Children's Advocacy Center, and then 3,000 to Safe Passages.
Second. All in favor? Any opposed?
And as always, those funds will be distributed once they become available sometime
August.
after August.
But don't call it up. Yes.
This is all.
Where's the date?
Okay. Last but not least, Norton's KDH funding discussion. I presume that's the 500,000 a year.
The additional.
Take me up on it.
That's the total.
Request for the transfer.
So is this not our normal contribution? This is additional,
Well, this is. Little.
the normal, okay.
This is the annual.
The new normal.
That we give to them.
But that's what this letter is, okay?
Okay.
Not that that's.
Oh.
I know you got another one there.
No, I just know that the ask was there. And these two bodies have not gotten back together to discuss this. It was second quarter last year.
And they got how much from Bethany Legacy?
2.2.
they did, and the ask for the county was 2 million, and I think obviously any decision maker in this room knows that money's not there. That ask, is not gonna fall from the sky, nor is in any of our budget books to give.
I mean, my thought is we're giving them 500,000 this year. They want 600,000 next year. Why don't they take that and apply that to their building? When it's, I mean, cause they told us the first time they had raised almost 2 million. Then they got 2 million from Bethany Legacy. They told us the estimate was 4 million for the building, so what would another 2 million from us, what was that gonna go to? I guess that would be my question,
It was for the transport hub project, yeah.
but they already raised 2 million, they got 2 million from Bethany Legacy, so is it now 6 million? I know, I'm not, that's my question to them, not to you, Heather, I'm sorry, I put you in that tough spot, but that's kind of my question, I mean. You know, I mean, they're getting, they have this amount, we don't, I mean, maybe we change the agreement to say, sorry, I'm jumping in again, that they can use it for whatever they want. You know, if it's to use for the building, use it for the building. They can use part of it for the building and part of it for ambulances, then do it that way.
Well, we honestly don't know what the 500,000 goes for. It could be for
Well, I mean,
maintenance. Hmm,
It's supposed to be our agreement.
right,
Yeah, I
but
mean-
it could be for building
Their,
upkeep, could
their
be
overall expenses budget.
staff.
It costs about $1 million to operate EMS services for this county. And obviously, all of us in this room know for a long, long, long time, the hospital paid for that 100% without this county having to contribute $1. And then obviously, things have changed in healthcare, obviously. It's looking really, really bleak, certainly, for reimbursement dollars for the upcoming decade. And I just think as that service was continued to provide for the county, it's supposed to be the full responsibility of this county. Hospital does not have to subsidize and pay for it in full. They had been, so obviously now for several years, the county has been contributing, and we all know those dollars have been increased. And we've been at the $500,000 mark the last 2 years, I believe. This World 2026 would have been the third, yeah. We're still obviously the county contributing about half of what it costs to provide that service for any of us, you know, to be treated by paramedic on the scene if one of us was in an accident and we left to go home tonight. They just really we're hoping the municipalities, particularly the county that they're providing the service for, you would have some skin in the game with the building project. Don't today have a final stance on where their fundraising efforts have been and or building costs have changed. I just know they made the ask second quarter this past year, and we kind of put it on the back burner and hadn't made a decision.
Where if we give them more, would we get the funds? I mean, have y'all thought of, the council looked into?
It has not come back up on our agenda yet. So that's a great question. Yeah, we have not, I won't say we've been putting it off, but, if there's
Yeah.
not been a push to get it back into discussion. But
Right, okay.
Wait. Yeah, I mean, we could obviously, in a way, fire certainly, it's much needed, underfunded, and we know that public safety tax dollars certainly could use those funds for all fire protection. But, yes, public safety funds can certainly do that as well. And services. And we've certainly seen a lot of counties across the state that have had to implement an EMS tax because there was not a hospital that said, we'll provide the service. And for the county to have funds to provide that, they had no choice but to implement an EMS tax. Obviously, we're not have to do that.
I do have a slight question.
Sure.
So some of my budget is spent on, 911, dispatching for KDH. Can we make that less confusing for me? Like, what is not our 911, the central dispatch responsible for at KDH dispatch? With their new building, they've asked for a refresh, and I'm not sure if they think that it's coming from our 911 budget, or if it's coming from them. Just some small things like printers.
So I mean, their computer hardware and the things associated with that. Sure, I think it's worth the question. I'm sure we'll have a meeting to talk about that, so we can.
Isn't that considered as a backup though? I
Well,
mean, it was intentionally, I know that.
so I think that the 1222 funds are only allowed to be spent on primary PSAPs. Since they're not a primary PSAP, I don't think that the 1222 funds could be spent on that. So then it would have to come from local.
So then we would have to budget, and then that amount would have to be shared amongst the city and Hanover and ourselves. What's complicated with that budget is, you can't really do an additional appropriation in that fund. Because then that changes everyone's contributions throughout the year. So, we would have to do that on an annual basis, cause every year, at the end of the year, whatever is left over, I have to send back to all the units. And we start out as 0 and then go again.
Do you think well, let's see if we can figure out what this cost is gonna be, how much it would be, and then we can figure out where we put it at. Is that fair? Cause that would,
Or it would have, if the county
right.
absorbed the entire cost, we could pay it from somewhere like public safety, but
like, yeah,
if
what you're
that's.
talking.
So it'd be a totally brand new system, right? Or I mean, to be compatible
I mean,
with yours.
how many, was it 2 or 3 computers, or do you know?
At the new building, or the new KDH building?
Yeah, well, whatever they want us to refresh, do you know what the,
Are they gonna move it to the new one? Cause now it's currently in KDH, right?
So when they moved to the new building, they want all their systems refreshed. So I'm not sure exactly what that would cost off the.
can you just get an inventory of what they have? Let us know, and then we can find the cost and go from.
Sure.
Software.
Well, that Windows 97 machine, it only run 256 RAM, I think you're good.
It's about it. Those 10 will.
And obviously, we didn't know this had come in, this ask obviously came into the commissioners. Really, it took me a second. I originally thought, seeing this for the first time, that the 600,000, they were asking for it for this year, obviously, the 2026 budget's already been set. Yeah, they're asking, for what we already have in the budget, the, $500,000 for our current calendar year, 2026. Obviously, those budgets were decided on and wrapped up in the fall. They're simply asking for us to consider $600,000 for the following year. Obviously, that they guys got this into December. Certainly sometimes those budget requests for the following year, they know to get them in by the fall, because we're rolling into budgeting, obviously, in early fall, but the $600,000 is being asked for 2027 for this letter.
I mean, I'll speak frankly, even though I'm Dave. When we asked them, so how are you gonna address this loss? Very rarely do they have any, I mean, they don't have any answer. They don't have anything that they're thinking about trying to do to reduce some of this loss. And then they ask for more money. I mean, if I were a business running something and I was losing this amount of money, I'd be coming up with some ways of trying to correct some of this. It kind of boggles my mind. Every time we've asked them that, they kind of, well, yeah, they really don't have any idea.
I guess my understanding, EMS is not a profitable business, period. For that, so I guess
But there are people out there running EMS services and they are not going bankrupt, right? So somebody's doing it, even in the current system that the healthcare industry is operating in. So I'm just not sure, you know, I mean, when pushed for something in the one meeting, it was said, well, some of those people that work on an ambulance will also work in the ER. I was like, wow. That's a tough gig, and I'm not sure you're gonna find many people who wanna do that, but, you know, I mean, just if they would.
Weren't we told they lost $3 million that one year?
I
thought.
it was,
usually around $900,000. And obviously they're legally allowed, obviously, not for profit, obviously a certain percentage of that is allowed to be written off on, you know, charity care and bad debt. Obviously, every person that walks in the door of the emergency room, it may cost this much to treat them and you don't get a penny out of them. You know, healthcare right now gets, 7 cents on the dollar for Medicaid. You know, obviously the reimbursement is poor and there's a massive volume of high percentage of runs where the hospital is not seeing anything that is coming back. You or I may get a hefty ambulance bill. Unfortunately, the statistics don't run in favor for folks that are paying those. Yes, the reimbursement is terrible. That's, I think, why it's such a costly service. I just know that if the hospital decided not to do it, this county would be providing that service for every taxpayer. And what would it cost us?
We hire the Amish.
We're not being held hostage.
Might be there next year.
turbo horses.
Well, I agree, it's expensive, but I'm still, maybe if your council could say, here's where we got an extra 200,000 or whatever, let us know. I can't wrap my head around where we got a whole lot of extra. I just need to, if somebody could help me with that. I've asked Heather for some numbers and I'm going, geez, and I ain't saying we don't want to give it to them, but I just need to know. I'm old dumb country boy, I just don't know where.
It's gonna get tighter next year.
I know
I think it's an exorbitant amount for us to like think about putting into our budget. The $2 billion ask, I mean, I don't know where we come up with that.
Yeah.
I mean, because we have the public safety, we have to remember that was to pay down. What was it to pay down?
Mhm.
It was to pay down our big project and those funds. Sheriff Flint knows, he's here. He took over that project and made sure it was complete. But I mean, that money that's in that goes to that project, a majority of it. Am I right? Heather?
Earmarked for it.
Exactly.
It's-
And we have to remember that. So when people say, well, can you take it out of the public safety?
It's earmarked
And
for jail.
we can do some things within there, but to absorb a huge amount, I would be, I don't know, it worries me. But then, Heather's right, if we had to provide ambulatory services for Jefferson County, it would be a huge burden on our budget that way too. So. That could be, but that $500,000 that we're setting aside each year for them, that would go towards running an ambulatory service for Jefferson County. If it ever would come to that.
Talking off sharp pencil.
They must be pretty intent on keeping it up or they wouldn't spend $4 million on a new building. I wouldn't think.
You could have it. What,
I
whatever.
mean, I think if we think about that, we need to have some things in there that's a part of the deal. If we do turn over money for a new ambulance building, then it's like, all right, you're gonna provide it for,
Years.
10, 15 years in the future, because That, once again, my thought is, if I'm losing money in a business and it keeps that, I'm gonna walk away after a certain period of time and. So,
And for employee stability, would it be too much to ask for the health insurance to always be accepted?
yes, that is something else. I'm sorry, I forgot to bring that up, but
You're
that,
fine.
that has been things that have been brought up. We don't think we're gonna take your healthcare insurance. Really? Okay, I mean, and then you don't hear anything more about it, so are they really gonna do that? They did it when we first switched, and it was,
They need every nickel they can get.
It was a nightmare.
Oh, I'm sure it was.
It was a nightmare.
but,
But if push comes to shove and we did have to take it over, then we're gonna have to build a building. And we sure don't have $4 million for that kind of building.
well, I think. You were questioning the cost of the
Yes,
building anyway,
and I never did get answers on it either, so
but
that's the
Anyway.
point.
yeah, so. So we need to think about this. We will set up a meeting. You give us some input and then we'll have the meeting with them about their proposal and talk about the other money. We've kind of floated the idea to them a certain amount over so many years. Is that something that you could work with us on or,
But make sure that we get the service.
Right. I mean, part of that agreement would have to be, we'll make that investment that we continue to receive that service, And I know it's a hard guarantee to make, but it's hard for us to.
Free ambulance rides with county ID.
Big of a treasure.
It's been so long since they made that proposal, came to the commissioners meeting and came to the council meeting, since it's been so long. And obviously they are already deep into that fundraising, those efforts have secured some other dollars, if your fundraising efforts, their grants. I don't believe plans have necessarily changed with the building or the design of that, but I mean, they technically haven't broken ground yet. It's just, it's been so long since we've heard that, would it be smart to go ahead and bring them back again?
Sure. They sent us an email a couple weeks ago, maybe.
I got one last week, yeah.
So they sent an email requesting another meeting where we wanted to meet with you to, all right, where would you like to go? Where's the starting point? So.
We're like an internet bidder. What's our limit?
And what are your,
In essence.
Could you work with, if it said, okay, we're gonna have to do a certain amount over so many years, is that easier than a whole lump sum right up front? I think it is, but you need to, and what would you think? Is it 200,000 over 10 years? I don't know. Maybe that makes sure that they continue to to provide it for that time they want to keep it in. But
Or are they expecting 700,000, 800,000 in 28 and 29?
Incremental going up each year.
And times are gonna get hard. Budget wise. With their wonderful new tax powers to be up north
so
taking care of us.
I guess would the council prefer spread out over years? And we have that discussion with them and see what, what's.
To lock it in instead of 6, 7, 8.
Well, yeah, see,
It's outside of that.
You talking about the building?
Yeah.
Right, yeah,
Okay, you
yeah.
guys are talking about the building.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Okay.
we've got this in the budget for this year, the 500,000, but just on the building, I mean.
But we've already said we've got 4 million. What do we need more for?
Well, that's part of our discussion.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
so maybe they'll say, okay, we need X dollars, I don't know,
Okay.
that'd be less, but not before, so I don't know. So let's see.
It's my understanding that you're halfway to the fundraising goal. I think the 2 million is what is secured, the million from Bethany and additional million from other funds.
They got
fundraisers. That's
2
my
million.
understanding.
2 million from Bethany, right? That's what I thought I read, but.
I thought they got 2.2, but.
Anyway, we'll get that straightened out and we. Sure,
Definitely be good to spread it out.
I think so.
Because our budget's gonna be tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's spreading it out, but it didn't work.
Yeah, we don't even know what totally gonna get this is. The quarterless property ticket.
Yeah, that's. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, right?
Acting the belt as it is.
Can I go back in time for about an hour?
An hour?
Yeah, I just want to go back to, quarter after, about 12 after 6, when we were talking about Exos, right?
Oh,
Yeah, right back at the very.
back to IT.
We
Okay.
kind of moved on and there wasn't, I was gonna say something at that point, but I didn't, so we moved on. Did you guys get another bidder? Because we're looking at about another $200,000 a year for this. You know, I realize we need the cybersecurity. I realize that. But did you guys look at anybody else other than, Exos or whatever their name is?
Not yet. I mean, we can.
I really we'd appreciate that.
Any
It's
idea?
gonna be about 200 more thousand a year.
Any
At least
idea?
2 to 250. Not yet, no,
Oh, okay.
no.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, you thought I was.
Well, maybe you knew somebody that.
Yeah.
No, no, I don't, but, you know, and I realize that if somebody were to hold us for ransom, they could drain our budget. You know,
Right,
they could really put a notch in us. So we're gonna have to do better in what we're doing. I realize that.
but it's not necessarily required to choose a service provider by quote. So, I don't know, I think we've experienced what happens with low bids in this scenario.
Get what you pay for.
Yeah,
That's true.
so,
That's true.
Delay will put you right in the crosshairs.
Too good to be true, it usually is.
I mean, I'll see if I can find somebody that's, you know,
comparable.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. I got anything else?
Animal shelter.
Hmm.
Please.
Alternatives?
No, I believe Brian asked if we could have a discussion, if the council would be in favor of putting together a letter of support. Obviously, the meeting was canceled for Friday. So, we could wait until Tuesday if you guys want to brainstorm more, but, just getting a letter of support from the boards to go with the Ready Grant application. If the county would put money towards the shelter.
Yeah, it was kind of bad on the bid when we don't
Right.
have any skin in the game, other than the architect firm that we had draw up the plans and the rendering.
Yeah, but we don't know what we're gonna be able to do right now, and some of my guys are uncomfortable with anything that looks like a commitment on paper. At this point, because we don't know if we're gonna be able to do it or not. So we can make a vague, we could say we support the animal shelter, but anything that even resembles any kind of monetary commitment at this point, without us knowing more, we've got some.
Unless we could come up with something out of Coon Courthouse.
I mean, so we put in about $60,000 for the architect work on the shelter.
Right.
58 and some
Drawings
change,
and the rendering.
right?
Budget, itemized budget and all that.
Yeah, so I mean,
So just not a hard number. I mean, we will support it, but we can't commit to a hard number.
It's the current, what's the current budget amount for this year?
One for the shelter.
Is for the running. Curious, sorry.
Let me look.
Heather, you had a good idea about at the end of the year, if we had any left. I can't remember exactly what that was. Could you put it in the building fund?
So at the end of the year, whatever we feel comfortable, a comfortable amount that could be moved out of the shelter operation fund, if that could be moved to the building fund, then that could be a savings every year that could go towards.
I mean, is the building fund? I mean, there's,
The current budget for 2026 is $349,407.
I was saying, it's just shy of 350, wasn't it?
That being said, last year.
And additional line item for vet services, or wait, isn't there additional, not the line item, but there's the building fund, but isn't there a completely separate fund for vet services also?
No, this is the total budget. Yeah, all in.
Just shy of 350, for some reason I. still thought it
Last
was-
year, we spent a total of $305,363. So that being said, after she gets her money in, her reported collections that's coming in, that money is actually being saved. So we could move her revenue to the building fund so that it's being saved for a shelter rather than in this one.
Provided there's any left.
Right.
Okay,
So,
We have had funds left over.
yes,
pretty much every year
Mhm.
historically, okay.
well, yes,
Well,
in
in
recent
in
years.
recent
How
years.
much how much
Some,
donations they get.
Sure, that all.
Right, so, the fund balance as of 12/31/2025 was $180,000.
I don't know if this question can be, answered. The grant money at was at Hanover College and did not get used because they decided to dissolve
For their BMD.
for their BMD program. Does that money still stay at Hanover College?
no, that's what this all is all about.
it goes back
That's what's
to
on.
the
It
RDA.
goes back to Southeastern Indiana Region.
Yes. Yes.
And so that's where these projects are coming at, because they want these funds that have been turned back.
Okay, so,
And they can only be submitted if you submitted last year and didn't get drawn or weren't awarded money. So it's not any new projects. It had to be a project,
That
but
was presented.
yes, of course, we garnished ours up, made it look a lot better going with Ivy Tech and the Jefferson County together by the vet center and the vet schooling and the vet tech. And so
so they're not allowed to give it back to.
Well, they might, but they had to reapply for it.
Got it.
but they, last I knew, they didn't have their accreditation or whatever they had to have
Okay,
to go forward with that. And Ivy Tech's already got 16 or 18 students. They've got some from
right.
St. Joe County, you
And
know.
the trustees of the college voted to, they're done, they're not, yeah, the project's not on the table anymore. From the college. And thrilled, obviously, that Ivy Tech is still moving forward with their vet tech
So
program.
theoretically, when would we know by reapplying? If they would give it?
Well, we had to have those in last Friday at noon, and then they were supposed to have their meeting tomorrow, and my understanding was go ahead and
Mhm.
make the awards or, you know. And of course, that hadn't happened, so this probably, I don't know how long before Steve will be able to be back, but. So that's something we could take, because we've got a 2-minute spiel, we get to. Plead our case.
We've been given a little bit of a stay of execution.
Yeah,
Putting
plus-
us in the game.
Okay.
I don't know if you can update.
Well, just like your company's donation,
Right,
it was past the deadline, so that can be.
Yep.
Kicked in on that 2-minute plea.
yeah. Well, then I think we need to make a move this evening then.
So if we said I pledge it,
Question.
okay,
Maybe you're going I'm thinking you pledge X amount of dollars contingency on the fact that they award us, say, 2 million,
Well,
that we get awarded.
I like that.
Because that's showing the county's got skin in the game and
We need to do that. We do.
Mhm.
I mean, do you think if
We got
you said
5,000.
180,000?
There's 180,000.
Yeah, 80.
180,000 at the end of the year, and then the county made their contribution for a full, and then. So the county, city and Hanover's portion covers the entire budget, so there's at least 180 right now that we could,
I don't know if you want to go to the.
Well-
Sure, right, but, so, I
theoretically.
mean, do you do,
I mean, that's just a thought.
I like what Bobby
I
said
do
there.
too. I do too.
I would pledge for that.
I don't know if you, how close you want to go to it, do you say,
150.
okay, I'm open to that, do you want to say we pledge 100 and, yeah. We'd rather 140 or 160, I mean, I know you. Even, yeah,
150.
it just, okay, just at the end of it, okay.
And then 150 contingent. The grant is,
Proceeding here.
That we are
We awarded
awarded
the
a
grant.
dollar amount for the project.
Yes.
Because since that Wednesday meeting, Trish has raised 130 out because she already had that in a building fund. It's like, I think the amount was 329, 339. It's phenomenal. She raised $77,000
Amazing
in
how
a
much
few
money you
days.
raised in such a little amount
Yes.
of time.
And of course, your companies didn't hurt either, so. It's just a shame. But of course, if we can resubmit it.
Yeah.
I was disappointed that we could not be in agreement to at least provide a letter of support this past week. Even if we didn't have a dollar amount on there. So I'm thrilled that.
Weather was good for something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve's health.
We have to meet together too, so
Yes.
it's challenging to get that
Yeah,
accomplished.
I mean,
I mean, they didn't have, I
Time
mean,
made up.
sure, they found
And
out
they
the week before
threw
and
this
had.
back out and we only had 30 days.
Yeah.
And it's hard
well, when
to
you
get all that garnished together in 30
according to
days.
the code, whether either a majority of us or I can call a meeting, we gotta have 48 hours to say anything.
Advertise it.
We gotta, yeah. So there wasn't anything that I tried to scramble around, but we couldn't do anything. There just wasn't enough time.
I was the anchor.
Big rag.
Blame it on a new guy.
Really,
I like that. Okay, go.
He does have a primary, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not too much of a- not too much of a drive.
Get your name out there where there's good.
We're number 15. So not necessarily in that order, it's just, that tells me there's at least 15 projects or more that have been resubmitted, but my hope is the fact that we've totally redone the thing
Yes.
and have that much support from an educational center that maybe we can be thrown up, and if we don't get, we only got 1 million, that's still, it's enough,
Only a million.
I mean, seriously, enough
No,
to
yeah.
think about getting it done, cause I'm like Dave, I wanna move, I wanna get it done regardless.
Originally allocated to Jefferson County for a project similar, but we just have one of the routes, basically, of the project that decided not to follow through for whatever reason. So now we're continuing on with our campaign, but we're just losing that one entity that was supportive in our whole picture.
Well, I mean, I think, we
So I
kind
think
of combined.
It's good.
Right. Most people I've talked to think we have a very good chance. And I understand, when we first put in the project just for the animal shelter, okay, it's really hard to be a regional thing, you know, but when you tie in Ivy Tech and all the things that they've done to that, I mean, it definitely moves it up the ladder because it is a regional thing now, because it's not just kids in Jefferson County going to this Ivy Tech. I mean, St. Joe County, I mean, you got them all over the place. So,
We'll elevate Ivy Tech.
right, well, so I mean, we've elevated both of us.
And this vet tech program is just gonna be so good for this region. And for the vets, it's gonna help them, it's gonna help the animals to get the care. I was amazed, they said you get 70 vets and 28 vet techs
For 70 minutes.
in this,
Right.
what was it, 5-county region? That was amazing to me. So there's a need for it. There's
And with those students coming from so far away, that shows that it's not just in this 5-county region, it's further than this. So,
it's a win-win, really.
win,
Yeah.
win.
And I think all of us have been in agreement too. Everybody knew that county, we all have known forever that we needed a new animal shelter. But so many folks, they'll drop off a bag of kitty litter and a thing of bleach for the shelter, but a lot of people have been hesitant, generosity, magnified. But I think we all knew, when they see actually what this building's gonna look like, and when they actually know we have land, or they know, okay, we're talking about it for years, but when is this gonna happen? I just had such faith that the community would step up, even individuals, to donate, and knowing, okay, I'm gonna see this in my lifetime, this could be this next year. Yes, that's thrilling.
So who makes the motion? How do we go about that? As far as the 150,000?
It will be coming from us,
We're gonna articulate the
I think
motion.
it'd be over.
I mean,
Did we advertise
Bobby can do
giving
it.
money for it tonight?
We're not actually appropriating it, so it will
That's right.
just be a letter of support contingent, and then we would advertise and move forward.
Can I do that?
That's the grant certificate.
I make the motion that we send in.
You're
a letter-
president of council, you can do anything
Oh, I
you
didn't
want
think I
to.
could, I didn't know. I didn't know.
Oh, go ahead. Who's gonna tell you you can't?
Yeah.
He might, but I don't know.
Somebody make that motion.
Make a motion that we, council submits a letter of support and funding of 150,000 if we get the award, or if we are awarded.
Contingent on being awarded funding.
I can second that motion, Ray.
All in favor?
I,
All opposed? I guess I can make motions anymore.
Okay, second.
Okay, I'll draft the letter and you can come by and sign,
Okay,
and then I'll get it to Brian.
very good.
Okay.
Thanks, wonderful.
No problem. Done that.
I could sign for you.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Thought about public comment.
Minneapolis, here we go again. Oh, gosh.
You've been spending.
It's fine.
We're spending money on that.
I think so. I was-
It's like just $5.
we have to sit with these guys.
Those are different.
Yeah. Outnumbered too, aren't you?
We are.
I signed for a can-do ship, so it wasn't.
It's been a good meeting overall.
Yeah.
It has
Yeah.
been good.
Yeah.
Very educational too. And thank you for your input.
Yeah.
And why they call you the
Push
brains of the
rope. I think you
outfit.
got through it.
The brains of the outfit. Okay. And we got anything else before we close tonight? Hearing none, I would entertain,
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
I second that.
all those in favor signify by